Here is a list of widely known and good quality ABA journals. First, I'm going to go into Java, click into Java, and here you'll see options of which database within BSU libraries to choose for. Because we want the most recent in the last 10 years, the best would be to go where information is available from 2010 to present. If we went here, we would not really have anything recent. It only goes up to 2002. So I want to click on the Wiley-Blackwell link. And here there is list of current issues. I could click all of the issues and they take me back as far as a long back, but I'm only interested in looking up until 2007. So I go and click on either 2010. Well, that's not working. 2011, that's not working. But if I click on any of them, it shows 4 issues because that's what is Java's production plan. They produce 4 issues in a year. So I go back and I will, just for the sake of demonstrating how I would do a search, I'd go into, let's say, June 2016. I go down, scroll, and see caregiver preference for reinforcement-based procedures. That looks good, but not really going to apply here. Then I inserting master targets during error correction when teaching skills to children. This might be interesting. Again, don't be ruling out anything that has a specific diagnosis, because we want to look at if the treatment, if the procedures are something that we can replicate. I want to show this study. So you click this because this looks really good. Use of an explicit rule decreases procrastination. This seems like, yes, this would apply. Most everybody has some or the other challenge when it comes to procrastination. So this looks good. It's an ABBA design, not the best for a functional relationship, but let's explore. And because I'm mainly interested in the methods, I'm going to skip over lit review for now. I'll go to procedures. They're using writing assignments. They have a control condition and treatment conditions. Okay. Let's go into data collection. This is a written assignment, permanent product. Okay. This is how they did IOA and procedural integrity. Okay. Now look at the data analysis. So I have to scroll down. I'm not going to finalize just a study just yet. I have to go down and see what did they do with the data. So they're doing a whole bunch of statistics. They're doing area under the curve, which we're not covering in the class. They're doing t-test, which we're not covering in the class. So I'm going to deem this study not usable for our class. Another study, let's see, I think I got out of it. Let's go into September 2016. Here, I'm going to again do the same thing. I'll scroll down. Adult attention increases, moderate to vigorous physical activity, but this may not be possible because we're not to include anybody else in the study. No family member or an office worker. So we would have to go over that. Let's see here if we can find something. Model for guiding the selection of treatment components. This may not be great either. Let's go and see. We keep going down. Combined effects of non-contingent reinforcement and punishment on the reduction of rumination. Rumination is a behavior that doesn't really apply to most everybody in the population, so I'm going to skip over that. Blocking, response blocking, this won't apply to you either because we're not really targeting any kind of behavior that would need blocking. Decreasing bouts of prolonged sitting among office workers. Let's look at this one and see what happens here. Okay, so again, skip over lit review, go to methods. Office workers, okay, this would apply. They need to be collecting data. And again, realize that you're not going to have a separate set of experimenters versus a separate set of participants because you are the experimenter. They have an ActiGraph, a unit to collect physical activity data. We could figure out something that would be used by all of you. Design concurrent multiple baseline. That's very applicable. That's very replicable. They're not doing any statistics. They're tracking data and they're graphing it. This would be something I would consider replicable. There is another study here that I had, this one. Examining procedures for valid error correction for sight words. Instead of sight words, you could use your SAFMEDS word or your actual technical words from your Cooper book. And you could use the procedures here. But this would be something that you would need to be available to meet via video because one person would play the role of the one who prompts, and the student would be on the other side of the computer. So if you are all available in the same time zone, have work schedules, life schedules that will allow for scheduled sessions to meet, this would be something you could use for your study. Another study that I just found that could be used is right here. Actually, it was on the main page. So my computer is taking a bit of time. Another good art journal is Journal of Behavioral Education, because they're targeting a lot of academic skills, and because you're all students, a lot of that would apply to you. So you would click on Job, you go on finding, let's see, an issue from December 2013 and see what comes up. Graphic aids in improving decision accuracy, on-task behavior in a regular classroom, effectiveness of a self-management procedure. This could be something. Effects of plotting a second observer's ABA graphs when observer disagreement is present. Breaks are better. This doesn't look like an empirical study, but you could explore each one of them and see if this would be something that could apply to your group. A comparison of two flashcard interventions for teaching sight words. This could be or could not be depending on how you're all in terms of ABA concepts. So there are a lot of procedures, a lot of good interventions here that could be used by you. You would just have to make sure that you look at the design to make sure it is applicable and doable based on your time schedule. I wanted to go over this study right here. Okay, so there is this study, that evaluation of interdependent and independent group contingencies using the good behavior game, which was recently published, and this could also be something that you could replicate. So once you find a study, and in here, the JABA journal provides you with the full article. But if you were looking and you couldn't find the full text of an article, you would copy paste the title, go to university libraries, click on OneSearch, paste the title of the study. Make sure you go here, because if you're not logged in, you would not be able to see the full study. And then you would again paste it here and look for that study. Here, let's find this one, because that study is not really published yet in paper. It's only online available. So let's do this one and paste it here. Search. And here is Journal of Behavioral Education 2013, and you click on it, and this is how you can get it from BSU libraries, especially if it is not full text available from the journal. So this is how you can access studies. It is not a time to find the most ideal behavior that you personally want to work on, because that may not match with the study that is published. So it's better to go through the studies that are published and see which ones seem interesting enough and are doable enough for your group to select as a replication project study. One of you can take 2011 of Journal of Behavioral Education and 2011 of JABA, and then divide different years or different issues, and then come back on the drawing board and see which study you found and which one works the best for all of you. Thank you.